Hello everybody, Andrew from Southwark here to talk about our 2019 skin fermented white, or as it's more colloquially known, orange wine. So I first want to establish what is orange wine, because it can be a little bit hard to define sometimes. So orange wine, when it comes down to it, is white grapes. In this case we use Vidal that we've grown here on our estate, a little bit closer to the production facility. Organically and biodynamically grown. So white grapes, Vidal, in contact with their own skins, which is the same method as you would make red wine, not something you typically do with white wine. And in this case for about 30 days, which is a little bit longer than you would normally go for most red wines. Typically you're looking at sort of 15 to 20 days. And what that gives you is tannin and color. So this is Vidal that's got such a wonderful thick skin, perfect for orange wine, and a really interesting kind of florality, and there's really some interesting notes on there which we'll talk about in a second that really we find lend itself very well to orange wine. So about 30 days, crushed on the skins, you get tannin and this wonderful orange color. So when people talk about orange wine, there is no orange fruit involved. It's all about the color. It's all referring to that wonderful, wonderful shade that you see here. So when it comes to orange wine, especially in Ontario, we were really one of the first wineries, I should say, to really reestablish this style of wine being made here, because this is a style of wine that has been made for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years in places like Northern Italy and Georgia in the Caucasus, this style of fermenting white on its skins. So we've been making this is 2019 now, but we've been making it since 2014. So we're very proud to have been one of the leaders in bringing this style back to Ontario. When it comes to flavor profile, I find that the nose and the palate can be a little bit distinct from each other, in the sense that on the nose, got a really interesting, I don't want to use the word funky, but it's got a really interesting, almost kombucha, kind of sour beer, almost a pickled smell to it. Really different. It really, for anyone that really enjoys, all the lovely other things that we make here in Ontario, Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc, traditional French grape varieties, it really throws you for a bit of a loop, bit of a curveball. But then on the palate, you get a white that is really wonderfully floral, got really interesting kind of honey, bergamot tea, and what still throws you for a loop is it's a white wine, but with tons of body, with tannin, which is not something that you ever get with other white wines. That makes it an excellent, excellent wine to pair with food. I find that, some people of course enjoy it on its own. A lot of people that I talk to enjoy this orange wine with food. And when trying to think of a recommendation for pairing, it's a little bit tough because it goes with just about everything. It will go with quite a few different things, especially things that perhaps don't go well with wine otherwise. Things like heavier greens, things like kale, that kind of thing, salads, artichokes, but also perhaps some of those dishes which are a little bit in between, maybe heavy enough for a light red wine, but you would also want a heavier white wine, things like salmon, pork, that sort of thing, which are a little bit kind of in that middle zone. So when it comes to orange wine, if you like those flavors, the sort of lemon, floral, citrus, bergamot, I think this could be for you. But also, if you are into things like kombucha and sour beer, I think there's enough notes in there that you would really enjoy it as well. But otherwise, if you're curious about different kinds of wine, if you're interested in expanding your palate, this is the kind of thing that I think would be really fun for you to try, and perhaps something that you'll love. So, to our 2019 Estate Vidal Skin Fermented White or Orange Wine, cheers.